Hello there. I've always associated our elements work, the sort of elements work that we're doing with the archetypes and the Wheel of the Elements, which has been associated with Tamar de Jong and and with other people as they've continued the work forward. I've always associated that work with the tarot um, because I learnt of it through Richard Gardner, who was a tarot reader and who wrote about the tarot and the elements. And I always really find the tarot really good for looking into things. And I wanted to have a look at a little look at the tarot today, and I was going to use a specific deck which I quite like. So I'll just get on with it. Now, the deck that I'm going to use is the Hanson Roberts deck, which I like because it has a very fairy tale like quality, and I find that really fits with this work particularly well. Somehow fairy tales really fit with the elements work, and the colors are very vibrant, and all in all it's just a really nice deck, I think, and has a nice feel to it. So I thought I'd just take cards at random from here. I've shuffled the deck, and so I just want to see what comes up. The Hierophant. Well, you can see here, this often means kind of very established knowledge, kind of very conventional ways of doing things. It can be very benevolent, but it can also be a little bit stuck and over rigid. And obviously the resonance here is with the patriarch in our archetypes work. Yeah. Seven of Rods. Rods is fire in this system, so the minor arcana often do show things that will be associated with fire. Fire is spirit, and it's action, and it's spontaneity, and it's many things. And here, we've got somebody that's actually battling against the odds, but they're kind of on top at the same time. So it's not a bad card, of course. The Fool. The Fool is a wonderful card. In the Elements work, we have the Fool, in fact, and the Fool is, Richard used to almost call it the God card in a way, because he felt that it was really like, it was the life force. It really was almost like the life force in expression. So you see, we have the Fool itself turn up there. The Magician. Again, the Magician. The Magician is one of our archetypes. A cardinal masculine archetype. It's like the power of the sun in a sense, and it brings light, and it has some quite extraordinary characteristics. Four of Swords, Suit of Air. This is a card of seclusion, recovery, retirement. Two of Swords, another air sign, another air card. You'll notice that in the tarot, the air cards often have some pretty difficult associations, and I think that's really because, in a sense, air in our archetype system, it really is. It really is consciousness in a sense, in the way that we're used to thinking of consciousness, yeah, and it's that mental consciousness, and that is where a lot of our problems actually do arise. It's in our minds, That's where a lot of our conflicts arise, a lot of our struggles, yeah. And this one shows dilemma. It shows a dilemma in which the person is holding, yeah. Ace of Pentacles, Earth. This is a very earthy card. We could associate the elements, of course, with the cardinal, so Earth would be associated with Mother Nature. Let's have some more. Two of Rods. Rods again, fire. And this is This is like the arising of an endeavor. You're actually seeing the vision of it there. Page of Swords, again, swords, air, page is kind of young. It's something at the beginning. It's a new thing. It can be study, it can be various things, yeah. Four of Pentacles. I'm thinking about all the commonly accepted meanings of the cards, of course, but when you're actually reading, you need to actually see what comes directly out of the images for you and the associations between them. That's actually really more important, and the meanings you learn are just a jumping off point, of course. Four of Pentacles, Earth again. In this case, it's a rather overly attached form of Earth in a sense, yeah. Page of Cups, water. We've got some water here. And again, pages, they're young, they're beginnings, new things. This could be like, new feeling, new love in a sense. It could be all sorts of things, yeah. Or imagination. It's a childlike card. This one's very childlike. This is very much like our child archetype. So you can see our child archetype in this one, actually. Imagination. High Priestess. This is probably the one that's most like the Enchantress. So it is almost like a kind of almost like a cardinal of water, this card, just as the Magician. Well, you could see the Magician as the cardinal of air, but there is a kind of solar quality to it. And and Richard used to consider this to be very much a solar card, yeah, and so having a kind of fire cardinal, though in our scheme, the way we've learnt it just recently, the Magician is the cardinal of air. Of course, they don't have to be exact correspondences. The Lovers, this is a very important work, of course. The Lovers often indicates choice in the tarot, and it's a choice which is almost like a fork in the roads. It's a very important choice. In a sense, it's a choice of do you choose life? Do you choose growth? Do you choose to go with a way which leads to greater life? Or do you maybe choose something which is a little bit safer, a little bit less daunting, maybe something which looks like it just might make material sense rather than a deeper meaning. And you'd be surprised which is which sometimes. Nine of Swords, here we have, this is real mental suffering, and so of course again we're talking about the negative effects of air, what we call the shadow effects of air in some senses, yeah. Four of Rods, it's fire, but this is actually a quite nice card. There's an almost earthy quality to this at the same time, because it's like a happy home, it's like a nice place really. So there's something almost a bit Queen-like or Hearth Priestess-like about this card in some respects. King of Cups, very nice. There you go. Another. This often represents a person, but again, it's a Cups card. It's water. Someone well connected with their element of water and their feelings. Swords again. So much of the swords in the tarot, so much of the air in the tarot is challenges really, and the challenges of shadow in a sense. It's a funny thing. Richard used to say that he thought that indicated that our minds, our rationality, or something. It's almost like a tool that should be used very carefully. And when that tool becomes the master, then you are very much in problems, So, but he used to say that he thought that the negative qualities of the suit of swords tended to indicate how sparingly and how carefully we should use the element of air. You could say with a sort of purity of intention in a sense. Knight of Rods, fire. Let's go through some more and see if we can find some really interesting ones, because some of these are just, see, earth. Ooh, Three of Swords, there you go. That's a hard one. Separation. Queen of Cups. Again, something a little bit, a touch of the, maybe a touch of the actress in that one actually. Three of Cups. Ten of Swords. Yeah, sometimes it just gets too much, that mental activity, yeah. Eight of Cups. Well, and here, Eight of Cups, we've got something a little bit, this is like when the person turns inward out of a sort of disillusionment, in a sense. A person leaves to find something more true, more real. But it's an emotional guidance there. It's the Cups card. Six of Cups. Childlike. The Chariot. Richard used to say the Chariot was progress. The balancing of the two great forces, in this case, like water and fire consciousness, or what was how he would have thought about it. But in any case, it's a balancing of forces, balancing of consciousness. It's a nice home. Oh, the Devil. In this pack, this shows very nicely what shadow processes do, or what we're calling shadow processes, how they hold people back, how they restrict people, and how they don't need to be there. Yeah, you see, these characters have chains around their necks which they can take off. Yeah, but there is something more. The Devil is a complex card. Yeah, in the tarot, because there is the force of life stands behind him, and so people are always basically trying to find love, essentially, in whatever form. They're trying to find it, and what the Devil card does is drive people to uncover what their blocks are, so that they can actually deal with them, really. It's not a comfortable card at all, but it leads to people gaining a kind of mastery. It leads to what my friend Brent would call the hero's journey, and so it's an important experience, very definitely. There are strength. Strength is a very beautiful card. This is almost like the feminine force, the spiritual force, the force of spirituality, the force of the inner. This is the great power of the inner life. And it even has power in the outer world. And that's something you should remember. It even has power in the outer world, because everything has an inner aspect to it. And strength is that inner power. Richard connected with water consciousness. It is, though, in any case, this great power of the inner life. Judgment, awakening. This is becoming awakened to the possibilities of complete consciousness. The angel here has a cross on the banner, and the cross really represents the cross of the elements. So this shows that our psyche actually is complete, and if we can wake up to that, then we have the most extraordinary possibilities open to us. Hanged Man. The Hanged Man is truth. The Hanged Man is waking up to truth, waking up to the actual nature of things. And as people so often find, what's actually true, what's actually real, is so often the reverse of what is conventionally thought to be true. The Sun. This is a lovely version of the Sun, actually, because it gives that innocent, childlike quality to it. It's a real spark of life. So this is I'd say this is really a a fire card in its highest form. Yeah. It's got a youthfulness, its newness, its innovation, its life. It's a freedom. It's a very, very beautiful card, and this one makes it, gives it that very, very childlike, rejuvenated quality, which I think is lovely. The Hermit. Now the Hermit, there's a bit of the Sage to this one. There's a bit of the Sage, but there's also a bit of the Patriarch, I guess. This one definitely looks like the Sage, though, I think. Positive Sage. Victory, there you go. 6 of Rods. The Empress. The Empress is, I think, here, it's the Hearth Priestess in many senses. There is almost a sense of, there's a sense of Mother Nature in her, really. But Mother Nature is, as an archetype, Mother Nature is so mysterious and really not human, if you see what I mean. So I find that this one is, it's almost like you can see Mother Nature coming through the Hearth Priestess in this one, Mother Nature coming through the Queen in this one. And this is her in her real, regal form in this natural setting. The star is hope. The star is what follows when things that have been false have broken down, and we actually get to at least suddenly get to see that relief. That now there are possibilities because something false has been removed, and a lot of water in this card as well. You'll notice, yeah. So there's something cosmic about this card. It's called the Star, but there is something cosmic about it, and I think there's something cosmic about the element of water too. Interesting that, and the Swords cards, which are air, this card, which represents things getting better and you going to a good place, is actually crossing water. The Moon. Now the Moon is again, there's a lot of the Enchantress to this card, I think. This is almost like the power that the Enchantress draws upon. It's deep, atavistic, yeah. And there's a certain amount of, as you would expect, cross-reflection between maybe the Enchantress and Mother Nature here. Ace of Cups, water. The Lightning Struck Tower. The Lightning Struck Tower, the Tower, this is when things which are too structured, too static, too restrictive have built up, and the life force has to break through, has to break free. And once it breaks free, then you can get the star, yeah. And this is what happens. Now, where was it? We had the Devil card somewhere here. The Devil card is the blocks which the devil is teaching you to actually overcome by making them unbearable and by showing you your bindings. This is the blasting away of them, and this is the hope that comes afterwards. The world surrounded by the 4 elements, the potential of completion. And of course, new beginnings after that, because there really isn't any end to things, but there's a completion here. There's a sense of it being outside of time somehow, like this is that state you can tune into when you get to a certain point in the journey. The Emperor, this is there's a rather warrior-like quality to this one, but also some patriarch. So it's like patriarch warrior in one, I guess. Definitely outer journey stuff. Definitely outer journey stuff. Mastering the world and its ways. Death is transformation. Death is transformation. Richard used to refer it as the frame behind the physical. It's what comes into being with us, in a sense, our pattern, our underlying pattern, which he thought that we had, and that so it goes from life to life as far as he was concerned. But in any case, death here is transformation and a kind of liberation. And it's very noticeable here that everybody and everything encounters the same thing, ultimately goes through the same processes. And it doesn't matter who or what they are. They all go through the same processes of birth and transformation. The Wheel of Fortune, and the wheel is the one which is most reminiscent of the wheel of the archetypes itself. So Richard used to say that this really was the dance of life, and it does represent that possibility of an opportunity, and I suppose it's a bit like that sort of trans-dimensional object which you could take the wheel of the archetypes to be. Again, very childlike. The pages often have a child quality to them, but though I think the water one was the most childlike. Temperance. This is the mixing of qualities which occurs over time. Richard used to say it was the angel of time, and it was the task of time, which was to combine elements through us and through life. Now you'll see the character here is pouring liquid between two cups, so you could view that various ways. I know that Richard thought it was the combination of fire and water consciousness. You could also see it as the merging of souls, because water is a very soulful element, so it's like the merging of souls. On another level, you could probably see it as the merging of the cosmic and the individual, in a sense. You know, there are different ways of seeing it, you know. But in any case, it's a merging which occurs over time, and it's a kind of work which occurs to combine elements or combine consciousnesses. Ace of Wands, fire. Justice. Justice, a process that occurs in life whereby we have to stay in balance. Otherwise, things get cut short, basically. It's an inexorable process to reach this state of balance and to be within a kind of dynamic balance in life, because balance in fact can't be static. And so that is one of our dilemmas we tend to have to face, how to be in balance dynamically. Rather Mother Earthy. Another childlike one. Ace of Swords, air. Queen of Rods. Rather like the Empress, really. And the King of Pentacles. Anyway, that is my little trip through the tarot. I hope you can see from that in some way that the tarot really does have resonances with the archetypes and with the elements, and that it can be useful if you let it play across your consciousness as you're doing readings and as you're looking into things. It can really be of help at times, and can be just really beautiful as well. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed that.